Let me tell you something most people never realize. Money is not attracted by struggle. Money is not attracted by begging. Money is not attracted by fear. Money is attracted by alignment. Every single day, there is one habit that either opens the flow of wealth into your life or silently blocks it. Most people underestimate the power of the first moments of their day, yet those moments quietly decide the direction of their finances. Before any action is taken, before any effort is made, something far more influential has already happened. Words have been spoken, thoughts have been formed, and a tone has been set. The first words you speak each day are not casual expressions. They are instructions given to your mind. When someone wakes up and immediately says, "I'm tired," "This day is going to be hard," or "Money is always a problem," they may think they are simply describing reality. In truth, they are shaping it. The human mind is highly suggestible in the early hours of the day. In that state, it absorbs direction without resistance. Whatever you tell yourself in those moments becomes the lens through which you interpret everything that follows. If your first words are filled with stress and lack, your mind begins scanning the day for confirmation of struggle. You notice delays, obstacles, and problems more easily. You react emotionally, make rushed decisions, and miss opportunities that require calm awareness. Over time, this pattern becomes a financial habit, not because money avoids you, but because your perception and behavior quietly push it away. Words are powerful because they form beliefs. Beliefs influence behavior. Behavior determines results. This chain reaction begins with language. When you consistently speak limitation at the start of your day, you reinforce the belief that money is scarce, unpredictable, or difficult to obtain. That belief then affects how you act. You hesitate to take risks, underprice your value, avoid conversations about money, and accept situations that do not serve your growth. None of this happens consciously. It feels natural, even reasonable, because your inner dialogue has already decided what is possible. On the other hand, when the first words of your day are intentional and grounded in abundance, a different chain reaction begins. Speaking words such as "Today I create value," "I am guided," or "Opportunities are available to me," does not mean ignoring reality or pretending problems do not exist. It means choosing the lens through which you face reality. These words establish expectation rather than fear. Expectation changes posture. It changes tone of voice. It changes how you walk into conversations and how you respond to challenges. People sense this shift, and opportunities often emerge from human interactions long before they appear as money. Many people believe that attracting money requires complex strategies, perfect timing, or extraordinary luck. While skill and timing matter, they are secondary to mindset. Two people can have the same skills, the same job, and the same resources, yet experience very different financial outcomes. The difference often lies in how they approach each day. One begins with tension and doubt, the other with intention and trust. Over time, the second person tends to notice opportunities, build stronger relationships, and take calculated actions, while the first remains trapped in reaction mode. The first words of the day also influence emotional regulation. When you wake up speaking calmly and intentionally, your nervous system remains balanced. A regulated mind makes better financial decisions. It avoids impulsive spending, emotional reactions, and self-sabotaging behavior. Stress, on the other hand, narrows perception. Under stress, people choose short-term relief over long-term gain. They avoid growth, resist learning, and cling to what feels safe, even when it limits them financially. The words you speak in the morning can either activate stress or establish stability. This practice works because repetition creates identity. What you say daily becomes who you believe you are. If every morning you affirm that you are capable, resourceful, and guided, your identity begins to align with those qualities. You start seeing yourself as someone who can handle responsibility, manage money wisely, and create value in the world. Identity is a powerful financial force. People do not rise financially above the identity they hold about themselves. When your identity expands, your financial ceiling expands with it. It is important to understand that this habit is not about forcing positivity or denying hardship. Life includes challenges, delays, and setbacks. The purpose of intentional morning speech is not to avoid these realities, but to face them from a position of strength rather than fear. Saying, "I trust that I will respond wisely today," does not remove difficulty, but it prepares you to navigate it effectively. Prepared minds outperform anxious ones in every financial environment. Another hidden benefit of this habit is clarity. When you begin your day with intentional words, your priorities become clearer. You are less reactive to distractions and less influenced by comparison. Many financial mistakes come from comparison, impatience, or trying to prove worth. Morning intention grounds you in your own path. It reminds you that your role is to create value, not to chase approval. From this place, decisions become cleaner, more aligned, and more profitable in the long run. Over time, the effects of this habit compound. Small shifts in daily language lead to subtle changes in behavior. Subtle changes in behavior lead to improved choices. Improved choices lead to better outcomes. Eventually, people look at the results and call it luck, when in reality it was alignment practiced consistently. Wealth rarely arrives as a dramatic event. More often, it grows quietly through patterns repeated every day. The conclusion is simple but profound. The first words you speak each morning are the foundation of your financial reality. They shape your mindset, regulate your emotions, guide your behavior, and influence the opportunities you notice and act upon. When spoken with intention, gratitude, and expectation, these words align you with clarity and value creation. Money does not respond to desperation or force. It responds to the person you become through daily habits. Change the way you speak at the start of your day, and over time, you change the direction of your financial life. Gratitude is often misunderstood as a polite emotional response reserved for moments when life is going well. In reality, gratitude is a powerful internal position that determines how a person relates to opportunity, effort, and reward. When practiced daily, especially before results are visible, gratitude shifts the mind from survival mode into receiver mode. Survival mode is dominated by fear, urgency, and scarcity. Receiver mode is grounded in trust, awareness, and openness. Money does not move easily toward a mind that is clenched in fear. It flows more naturally toward one that is open and steady. Most people live in a constant state of financial tension. They wake up thinking about what is missing, what is late, and what could go wrong. This mental posture creates emotional contraction. When the mind is contracted, it becomes defensive. Defensive minds focus on protection rather than creation. They avoid risk, resist change, and prioritize short-term safety over long-term growth. Gratitude interrupts this pattern. The moment you intentionally acknowledge what is already working in your life, your nervous system relaxes. Calm replaces panic, and clarity begins to return. From this calmer state, better decisions naturally follow. Gratitude does not mean ignoring financial pressure. It means refusing to let pressure define your identity or dictate your behavior. A person can acknowledge debt, limited income, or uncertainty while still being grateful for health, skills, time, or the ability to learn and adapt. This balanced awareness is crucial. When gratitude is present, challenges are seen as temporary conditions rather than permanent truths. That distinction alone changes how people respond to their financial reality. Instead of feeling trapped, they feel capable. Instead of feeling ashamed, they feel responsible. Responsibility empowers, shame paralyzes. One of the most important effects of gratitude is how it reshapes perception. What you focus on expands in your awareness. When you consistently focus on what is lacking, your mind becomes trained to see absence everywhere. Even when opportunity appears, it is overlooked or dismissed. Gratitude trains the mind to notice resources. These resources may not always be money itself. They may be connections, ideas, time, or knowledge. Money is often the result of combining existing resources creatively. A grateful mind is more likely to see these combinations because it is already oriented toward possibility. Gratitude also influences how others respond to you. People are naturally drawn to those who carry appreciation rather than complaint. In business, employment, and everyday interactions, attitude matters more than many realize. A person who expresses gratitude communicates stability and emotional maturity. These qualities build trust. Trust attracts collaboration, recommendations, and opportunities that cannot be forced through effort alone. Many financial breakthroughs happen through relationships, and relationships are strengthened through appreciation, not desperation. Another critical aspect of gratitude is that it removes the internal conflict around receiving. Many people unconsciously believe they must suffer to deserve money. Others feel guilt when things go well, as if success will be taken away if it is acknowledged too openly. Gratitude heals this conflict. When you regularly give thanks for what you have and what is coming, you affirm that receiving is natural, not shameful. This inner permission to receive is essential. People rarely allow into their lives what they secretly believe they do not deserve. Daily gratitude also strengthens patience. Impatience is one of the greatest destroyers of financial progress. It leads to impulsive decisions, risky shortcuts, and abandoning strategies too early. Gratitude keeps you grounded in the present while still hopeful about the future. It allows you to work steadily without constant anxiety about outcomes. This steady approach is far more effective financially than bursts of frantic effort followed by exhaustion or disappointment. When gratitude is practiced consistently, it becomes a stabilizing habit. On good days, it prevents arrogance. On difficult days, it prevents despair. This emotional stability is invaluable in financial life. Markets change, income fluctuates, and plans do not always work as expected. A grateful person adapts more easily because their sense of worth is not tied exclusively to outcomes. They can learn from mistakes without collapsing emotionally. Learning, adaptation, and resilience are all prerequisites for long-term financial growth. Gratitude also aligns effort with purpose. When you appreciate the ability to work, serve, and contribute, your effort gains meaning beyond survival. Work becomes an expression of value rather than a burden. This shift changes the quality of what you offer. Higher quality effort tends to produce higher quality results, including financial ones. People who approach their work with appreciation often improve their skills, care more about impact, and remain consistent even when progress is slow. Over time, gratitude builds quiet confidence. This confidence is not loud or boastful. It is a calm certainty that you are supported, capable, and moving forward. Money is drawn to this kind of energy because it reflects responsibility and readiness. Financial opportunities require trust, and trust is built on emotional reliability. A grateful person demonstrates reliability by remaining balanced regardless of circumstances. In conclusion, gratitude is not a passive emotion. It is an active daily habit that reshapes the way you think, feel, and act around money. By shifting you out of survival mode and into receiver mode, gratitude relaxes fear, sharpens perception, improves relationships, and strengthens decision-making. It creates inner permission to receive and the patience required to grow. When practiced daily, gratitude becomes a foundation for financial alignment. Money does not flow toward anxiety and desperation. It flows toward clarity, trust, and steady value creation. Gratitude cultivates all three, making it one of the most powerful habits for attracting sustainable wealth. Many people believe that money is earned purely through effort, long hours, and constant struggle. While effort is necessary, effort alone does not guarantee financial success. There are countless individuals who work tirelessly yet remain financially stuck, and others who seem to move forward with far less resistance. The difference lies in alignment. Alignment is the state where thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction. When a person is aligned internally, their effort becomes focused, efficient, and impactful. When they are misaligned, even great effort produces limited results. Misalignment often begins internally. A person may say they want wealth, yet internally feel fear, guilt, or mistrust around money. They may desire success, but secretly believe that money brings problems or that they are not meant to have it. This internal conflict creates resistance. Actions taken from this state are inconsistent. One step forward is followed by 2 steps back. Decisions are second-guessed, opportunities are missed, and momentum is lost. From the outside, it appears that the person is working hard. On the inside, however, their energy is divided. Alignment removes this inner friction. When your beliefs support your goals, your emotions stabilize, and your actions become cleaner. You no longer waste energy fighting yourself. Instead of constantly questioning whether something will work, you commit fully to the process. Commitment improves execution. Improved execution leads to better outcomes. This is why alignment often looks like ease from the outside. In reality, it is not ease but efficiency. Energy is no longer leaking through doubt and contradiction. Money responds to alignment because money is a result of value exchange. To create value, a person must be present, observant, and responsive. Fear clouds perception. Desperation narrows options. When someone is internally aligned, their awareness expands. They notice patterns, trends, and needs that others overlook. They listen better, they communicate more clearly, they respond instead of react. These qualities make a person more effective in any financial environment. Another important aspect of alignment is timing. Many financial mistakes are not caused by lack of skill, but by poor timing driven by emotion. Acting too quickly out of fear, or waiting too long out of self-doubt both disrupt progress. Alignment creates emotional steadiness, which improves timing. A steady mind can sense when to move and when to pause. This sensitivity to timing is invaluable in business, investing, and career decisions. It cannot be taught through formulas alone. It emerges naturally when internal conflict is resolved. Alignment also changes how effort feels. When thoughts and actions are aligned, effort feels purposeful rather than draining. Even long hours do not feel as heavy because there is clarity about why the work matters. When effort feels meaningful, consistency becomes easier. Consistency is far more powerful than intensity in building wealth. Many people burn out because they rely on intense effort fueled by anxiety. Alignment replaces anxiety with intention, making sustained effort possible. It is also important to understand that alignment attracts collaboration. People are drawn to those who are clear, grounded, and self-directed. When you are aligned, you communicate certainty without force. This builds trust. Trust opens doors to partnerships, mentorships, and opportunities that cannot be accessed through effort alone. Financial growth is rarely a solo journey. It often depends on networks, shared resources, and collective effort. Alignment makes you someone others feel safe working with. Alignment does not mean everything will be easy or that challenges will disappear. Challenges are part of growth. The difference is how challenges are experienced. When aligned, challenges are approached as problems to solve rather than threats to survive. This shift changes emotional response. Instead of panic, there is curiosity. Instead of avoidance, there is engagement. Problem solving is a direct path to value creation, and value creation is the foundation of money. Another subtle benefit of alignment is integrity. When your actions reflect your values, there is less internal stress. Stress consumes energy that could be used productively. Integrity frees that energy. You no longer need to pretend, over-explain, or justify your choices. This authenticity improves focus and confidence. People sense integrity, and it influences how seriously they take you. Seriousness leads to responsibility, and responsibility attracts higher levels of financial trust and reward. Over time, alignment compounds. Small aligned decisions build momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence improves judgment. Improved judgment leads to better opportunities. This cycle reinforces itself. From the outside, it may look like luck or sudden success. From the inside, it feels like steady progress that finally begins to show. Alignment creates a foundation that supports growth rather than constantly resisting it. In conclusion, money does not respond to effort alone. It responds to alignment. When thoughts, emotions, and actions move together, effort becomes effective instead of exhausting. Alignment removes internal resistance, sharpens perception, improves timing, and attracts collaboration. It allows challenges to be met with clarity rather than fear, and effort to be sustained without burnout. Financial growth is not about pushing harder, but about moving in the right direction with your whole being. When you align internally, money follows externally as a natural result of focused value creation. The way a person speaks to themselves on a daily basis quietly shapes the quality of their decisions. Many people assume that thoughts appear randomly and that choices are made logically. But in reality, inner dialogue plays a powerful role in directing attention, confidence, and judgment. Intentional speech is not about repeating empty phrases. It is about consciously guiding the internal conversation that determines how situations are interpreted and how responses are formed. When this inner language is left unchecked, it often defaults to fear, doubt, and limitation, especially around money. Every financial decision begins as a thought. Before money is earned, spent, saved, or invested, a story is told internally. That story might sound like, "This is too risky," "I'm not good with money," or "This opportunity probably won't work out." Such statements may feel reasonable, but they are often rooted in past experiences rather than present facts. When these narratives repeat, they become beliefs. Beliefs then operate automatically, influencing decisions without conscious awareness. Intentional speech interrupts this automatic process by introducing choice where habit once ruled. When a person deliberately chooses words that reflect clarity and possibility, the brain responds differently. Neuroscience shows that language influences emotional states and cognitive flexibility. Calm, affirming language reduces stress and keeps the mind open to new information. This openness is essential for sound financial judgment. A stressed mind seeks certainty and avoids ambiguity, often leading to overly cautious or impulsive choices. An open mind, by contrast, can evaluate options more objectively, weighing risks and rewards with balance. Intentional speech also improves self-trust. Many people struggle financially not because they lack intelligence or opportunity, but because they do not trust their own judgment. This lack of trust leads to constant hesitation, second-guessing, and dependence on external validation. By consistently speaking to oneself with encouragement and respect, confidence slowly rebuilds. Statements like "I can learn this," or "I am capable of making wise choices," may seem simple, but repeated daily, they reshape identity. A person who trusts themselves is more likely to take responsibility for their finances and act decisively. Another important effect of intentional speech is focus. The mind cannot pay equal attention to everything. What you speak about repeatedly becomes what your mind prioritizes. If your inner dialogue constantly highlights problems, your attention will gravitate toward obstacles. If it highlights solutions, your attention will shift toward possibilities. This shift in focus is critical in financial life. Opportunities are often subtle and require awareness to recognize. A mind trained through intentional speech to look for solutions is more likely to notice them. Intentional speech also influences emotional resilience. Financial journeys include setbacks, mistakes, and periods of uncertainty. Without supportive inner language, these moments can lead to self-criticism and discouragement. Harsh self-talk drains energy and reduces motivation. In contrast, intentional speech provides stability during difficulty. It reframes setbacks as feedback rather than failure. This perspective allows learning to occur instead of shame. Learning from mistakes is one of the most valuable financial skills, and it depends heavily on how those mistakes are interpreted internally. The way you speak to yourself also affects how you communicate with others. Internal dialogue sets the tone for external expression. A person who internally affirms their value tends to communicate with clarity and confidence. This has practical financial implications. Clear communication improves negotiations, strengthens professional relationships, and enhances credibility. Many financial opportunities arise through conversations, whether in business, employment, or collaboration. Intentional inner speech prepares you to engage in these conversations effectively. Over time, intentional speech creates mental discipline. Instead of reacting automatically to circumstances, you respond thoughtfully. This discipline is especially important in moments of pressure, such as financial stress or high-stakes decisions. When emotions run high, untrained minds revert to fear-based patterns. A mind conditioned through intentional speech can pause, reassess, and choose a wiser course of action. This ability to pause is often the difference between loss and progress. It is important to note that intentional speech does not eliminate risk or guarantee perfect outcomes. Its value lies in improving the quality of the process. Better decisions do not always produce immediate rewards, but over time they compound. Small, wise choices made consistently create momentum. Intentional speech supports this consistency by keeping the mind aligned with long-term goals rather than short-term emotions. As this practice becomes habitual, decision-making becomes smoother and less exhausting. The mental energy once spent on doubt and worry is freed for creativity and problem-solving. Creativity is a major driver of financial growth, as it leads to new ideas, improved systems, and innovative solutions. A mind cluttered with negative self-talk struggles to be creative. Intentional speech clears that clutter, making space for insight. In conclusion, intentional speech is a powerful tool for rewiring decision-making. By consciously guiding inner dialogue, you reduce stress, build self-trust, sharpen focus, and increase emotional resilience. These internal shifts lead to clearer communication, stronger relationships, and more consistent financial behavior. Money is influenced by the quality of decisions made over time, and decision quality is shaped by the language you use with yourself. When your inner speech becomes intentional and supportive, your choices improve, and improved choices naturally lead to better financial outcomes. Many people believe that progress requires intense bursts of motivation, dramatic changes, or perfect conditions. This belief often leads to a cycle of excitement followed by exhaustion. In the context of financial growth, intensity can feel powerful in the moment, but it is rarely sustainable. What truly creates momentum over time is consistency. Small, repeated actions performed daily shape habits, habits shape behavior, and behavior shapes results. When it comes to attracting money and building stability, consistency quietly outperforms intensity every time. Intensity is usually fueled by emotion. A sudden desire to change, a moment of inspiration, or pressure caused by financial stress can trigger intense effort. While this effort can produce short-term movement, it is often driven by anxiety or urgency. Anxiety is not a stable fuel source. It burns fast and leaves fatigue behind. Once the emotional surge fades, old habits return. This cycle explains why many people start strong financially but struggle to maintain progress. Consistency, by contrast, does not rely on emotion. It relies on structure and commitment. Consistent behavior sends a powerful signal to the mind. When you take small, aligned actions every day, you reinforce the belief that change is possible and manageable. This builds confidence gradually. Confidence built through consistency is more resilient than confidence built through sudden success. It does not collapse at the first obstacle. Instead, it adapts and continues. Financial growth requires this kind of resilience because setbacks are inevitable. Those who rely on intensity often interpret setbacks as failure. Those who rely on consistency see them as part of the process. Consistency also simplifies decision-making. When actions become habitual, they require less mental effort. This reduction in cognitive load is significant. Financial life is full of decisions, and decision fatigue can lead to poor choices. By establishing consistent routines, such as reviewing finances daily, practicing intentional speech, or expressing gratitude, you reduce the number of decisions you need to make consciously. This frees mental energy for more complex tasks, such as planning, learning, and strategy. Another important advantage of consistency is trust. Trust is built through reliability. When you show up consistently, whether in work, business, or personal development, others learn that you are dependable. Dependability attracts opportunity. People are more likely to invest time, resources, or money in someone who demonstrates steady effort rather than sporadic bursts of enthusiasm. Financial opportunities often arise from long-term relationships, and long-term relationships are built on consistent behavior. Consistency also supports skill development. Skills improve through repetition, not intensity. A person who practices a skill for a short time every day will outperform someone who practices intensely but irregularly. Financial skills such as budgeting, negotiating, investing, and communication all benefit from regular practice. Over time, small improvements compound into significant competence. This competence increases earning potential and reduces costly mistakes. One of the most overlooked benefits of consistency is emotional regulation. When actions are consistent, emotions become more stable. You are less likely to feel overwhelmed or discouraged because progress is measured by effort rather than immediate results. This mindset reduces the emotional highs and lows that often disrupt financial behavior. Stable emotions support rational thinking, and rational thinking supports better financial decisions. Consistency also builds identity. Repeated actions shape how you see yourself. When you act consistently in ways that support financial health, you begin to identify as someone who is disciplined, responsible, and capable. Identity is a powerful driver of behavior. People tend to act in ways that are consistent with how they see themselves. Once this identity is established, positive financial behavior becomes natural rather than forced. It is important to understand that consistency does not mean rigidity. Flexibility is still necessary. Circumstances change and strategies must adapt. Consistency refers to commitment to the process, not attachment to a specific method. A consistent person adjusts course without abandoning the journey. This adaptability is essential in financial life, where external conditions can shift unexpectedly. Over time, the effects of consistency compound, small gains accumulate, relationships deepen, skills strengthen, and confidence grows. This compounding effect is often invisible in the early stages, leading some to abandon the habit prematurely. However, those who persist eventually reach a point where progress accelerates. What once felt slow begins to feel natural and sustainable. In conclusion, consistency is more powerful than intensity because it creates lasting change. While intensity may produce short-term movement, consistency builds habits, trust, skills, and identity over time. It stabilizes emotions, simplifies decisions, and supports resilience in the face of setbacks. Financial growth is not the result of dramatic effort applied occasionally, but of aligned effort applied daily. When you commit to consistency, even in small ways, you create a foundation strong enough to support lasting financial success. Trust plays a far greater role in financial outcomes than most people realize. It is not merely a feeling or belief, it is a force that shapes behavior, decision-making, and the way a person engages with opportunities. When trust is absent, fear fills the space. Fear narrows perception, accelerates stress, and pushes people into defensive patterns. These patterns influence every financial action, from how money is earned to how it is spent and managed. When trust is present, behavior changes in subtle but powerful ways, and those changes naturally attract better financial results. A person who lacks trust in life or in themselves often operates from a constant state of caution. While caution can be useful, excessive caution becomes paralysis. Decisions are delayed, opportunities are questioned endlessly, and potential growth is avoided because the fear of loss feels greater than the possibility of gain. This mindset limits progress. Money does not grow in environments dominated by hesitation. It grows where thoughtful action is taken. Trust does not remove risk, but it provides the confidence to move forward despite uncertainty. When trust is developed, behavior becomes clearer and more intentional. A trusting person does not rush impulsively, but they also do not freeze. They evaluate situations, make decisions, and commit to them. This decisiveness is essential in financial life. Many opportunities require timely action. Those who are trapped in fear often miss these moments, not because they lack ability, but because they lack trust in their judgment. Trust strengthens the ability to choose and act. Trust also influences how a person handles setbacks. Financial setbacks are inevitable. Markets fluctuate, plans fail, and unexpected expenses arise. Without trust, setbacks feel catastrophic. They trigger self-blame and panic, leading to reactive decisions that often worsen the situation. With trust, setbacks are viewed as temporary and informative. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" a trusting person asks, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective transforms mistakes into lessons and preserves emotional stability. Behavior driven by trust tends to be proactive rather than reactive. Proactive behavior anticipates challenges and prepares for them. This includes saving, planning, learning, and building skills before they are urgently needed. Reactive behavior, on the other hand, waits until a problem appears and then responds under pressure. Reactive decisions are often costly and stressful. Trust allows a person to invest time and effort in preparation because they believe their future is worth preparing for. Trust also affects how people relate to others financially. A person who trusts is more open to collaboration, communication, and negotiation. They are willing to ask questions, seek advice, and build partnerships. This openness creates access to knowledge and resources that are rarely available to those who isolate themselves out of fear. Many financial opportunities come through relationships, and relationships thrive on mutual trust. When you trust, others are more likely to trust you in return. Another important aspect of trust is patience. Trust reduces the urge for instant results. When people lack trust, they often seek quick wins to relieve anxiety. This pursuit of speed can lead to risky decisions, scams, or unsustainable strategies. Trust encourages a long-term perspective. It allows you to stay committed to a plan even when progress is slow. This patience is critical for wealth-building activities such as investing, skill development, and business growth. Trust also changes self-perception. When you trust yourself, you see yourself as capable and resourceful. This self-image influences how you present yourself in professional settings. Confidence rooted in trust is calm and credible, not aggressive or defensive. People respond positively to this energy. They are more likely to offer opportunities, responsibilities, and rewards to someone who demonstrates emotional stability and self-assurance. Over time, trust creates alignment between intention and action. When you trust your path, your actions reflect your goals more consistently. You are less likely to sabotage yourself through procrastination or avoidance. This alignment strengthens momentum. Momentum builds confidence, and confidence reinforces trust. This cycle gradually elevates financial behavior and results. It is important to understand that trust is built through practice, not through blind belief. Each small decision made and followed through strengthens trust. Each challenge faced and survived reinforces it. Trust grows as evidence accumulates that you can handle uncertainty. This evidence-based trust is durable and realistic, not naive. In conclusion, trust transforms behavior, and behavior attracts money. When trust replaces fear, decisions become clearer, actions become more consistent, and setbacks become learning experiences rather than stopping points. Trust encourages proactive planning, patient effort, and healthy collaboration. It shapes a calm confidence that others respond to positively. Financial success is not only about strategies or skills, it is about the internal state from which those strategies are applied. When trust guides behavior, money follows as a natural outcome of aligned and effective action. Money does not exist in isolation. It is a response to value. Wherever genuine value is created, money eventually follows. Many people focus on chasing money directly, believing that accumulation itself is the goal. This approach often leads to frustration because money is not attracted to need or desire alone. It is attracted to usefulness, contribution, and problem solving. Value is the foundation, and mindset is what determines whether value is consistently created or not. Mindset shapes how a person sees the world. Two people can be in the same situation with the same resources, yet one sees obstacles while the other sees opportunities. This difference is not luck, it is perspective. A scarcity mindset focuses on what is missing and fears loss. An abundant mindset focuses on what can be created and how to contribute. When mindset shifts toward abundance, the question changes from how can I get more money to how can I be more useful. This shift alone transforms behavior. A person with an abundance-oriented mindset naturally looks for ways to solve problems. Problems are everywhere: inefficiencies, unmet needs, frustrations, gaps in service. Each problem represents potential value. When you solve a problem for someone, you create value. When that value is recognized, money becomes the exchange. People who struggle financially often overlook this connection. They wait for money to appear before acting, rather than acting to create value that invites money in. Mindset also determines effort quality. Two people may work equally hard, but the one focused on value will approach tasks differently. They will ask better questions, refine their skills, and seek feedback. Their work improves because they care about impact, not just completion. Over time, higher quality work commands higher compensation. Money follows the person who consistently increases the value of what they offer. Another important aspect of mindset is responsibility. A value-based mindset accepts responsibility for growth. Instead of blaming circumstances, economy, or other people, it asks, what can I improve? This question leads to learning. Learning leads to skill development. Skills increase value. This chain reaction is powerful. People who avoid responsibility often remain stuck, not because opportunities do not exist, but because they refuse to adapt. Value creation also requires patience. Not all value is rewarded immediately. Some forms of contribution take time to be recognized. A mindset rooted in abundance understands this and stays committed to the process. Impatience often pushes people to abandon valuable paths too early. Those who persist in creating value eventually reach a tipping point where recognition and compensation increase rapidly. Mindset influences how value is communicated. Creating value is not enough. It must be expressed clearly. A person who believes in their value communicates with confidence and clarity. This affects negotiations, pricing, and professional relationships. Many people undercharge or undervalue themselves because their mindset is still rooted in scarcity. When mindset shifts, communication improves and compensation often follows. Another key element is adaptability. The world changes constantly. Skills that were valuable yesterday may lose relevance tomorrow. A growth-oriented mindset remains flexible. It continuously updates skills and approaches. This adaptability keeps value relevant. Money flows toward relevance. Those who resist change often see their value decline, while those who adapt remain in demand. Value is also multiplied through service. When contribution is driven by service rather than ego, it resonates more deeply. People trust those who genuinely aim to help. Trust amplifies value. Trusted individuals receive more opportunities, referrals, and long-term rewards. This is why service-oriented professionals often build sustainable wealth over time. Over the long term, mindset becomes identity. Identity determines behavior automatically. When you see yourself as someone who creates value, you naturally look for ways to improve, serve, and contribute. Money becomes a byproduct rather than an obsession. This reduces stress and increases fulfillment. Fulfilled individuals tend to perform better, creating a positive cycle of value and reward. In conclusion, money follows value, and value follows mindset. A mindset focused on abundance, responsibility, learning, and service naturally leads to value creation. That value attracts money through recognition, trust, and exchange. Chasing money directly often leads to disappointment, but focusing on becoming more valuable leads to sustainable financial growth. Change the mindset, increase the value you create, and money will follow as a natural and lasting result.